Good evening and welcome to Anime-Zing Radio here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I'm your host, Doug Engler. Joining me, as always, in the co-host seats are our good friends, Mr. Darren Starling
Hello.
and Angela Rose.
Hello.
We want to remind everybody that Anime-Zing Radio is brought to you tonight by Casey Fox. For all of your artwork, cosplay, and photography needs, be sure to check out Casey Fox. That's KAYCIFOXX on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We're also brought to you by Home Circle Media for the latest and greatest in anime gear, everything from pens, pencils, stationery, and officially licensed art books. Be sure to check out homecirclemedia.com today or look for them at an upcoming convention near you. We're also brought to you by Triple S Lawn Care. If you're down in the Raleigh, North Carolina area and you're looking for lawn care, be sure to reach out to Darren. He'll be happy to hook you up with a quote and give you top-notch lawn care, the best that he can do.
Yep. All roll.
Tonight, we don't have a guest. We're just going to have a fun, open chat type of show, talk a little bit about some of the summertime shows. I have increased what I've been watching from 2 to 4, so I doubled my watch list. And I know, Darren, you mentioned earlier that you were trying to watch a couple things.
Yeah, I fell asleep because it's been a rough week.
As is par on the course for Darren. And Angela, I know you said that you've been busy all week and haven't had a chance to really watch much anything.
No, I was instead adjusting to new job.
How is the new job going?
So far, so good.
Awesome. Think it's something you're going to like?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good thing.
You know, if you like what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
Exactly.
And I want to take a moment to throw a shout out now. As you can see in the title here, I'm still down in Georgia for training for my new job. And I decided today to look and see if there were any anime stores nearby. And I happened to find one that had an interesting name. So, of course, with it being 15 minutes away, I had to run off and go check it out. And the name, so I want to throw a shout out to Anime-Zing Escape. They are located in Locust Grove, Georgia. And they have DVDs, manga, figures, models, gaming, some RPG stuff. If you're into Warhammer, they got it. They're one of the largest Warhammer retailers in Georgia. There's not many stores that you're telling me that deal with a lot of the gaming and anime stuff much farther south than they are. Most of it's in the Atlanta area, which is a little bit north from where we are. So definitely shout out to them. It was fun going down and meeting the manager, chatting with him today, and taking a quick look around the store.
Buy anything?
And Ross has got a comment here for you, Darren. Ross says, let me see if I can cheer Darren up. As a bonus for him doing lawn business, he will mow the yard himself while looking at the hot girl next door and giving dirty looks to her mom named Stacy.
What hot girls and where are hot girls and where can I find them?
Excuse me. But again, I wanted to throw a shout out to Anime-Zing Escape. Fun little store, not too far from where I'm staying. And like I said, I had to stop by there today to say hello and drop off a business card or two. I mean, they share our name. I had to go and at least check them out. Now, anime-wise, as I mentioned earlier, I started watching 2 new shows on top of the 2 I had already started. The 2 that I've been watching is Classroom for Heroes, and of course, the Vending Machine anime. And the 2 shows that I decided to add to the list to watch is Am I Actually the Strongest? And My Unique Skill Makes Me OP Even at Level 1. Now, we'll start off with unique skill. for two reasons. One, I think Darren, you had that in on your watch list.
I have them both on my watch list.
But I know you like the bunny girls, and there is an adorable bunny girl on the show.
Yay!
That was the picture I sent to the group chat the other night. So knowing that's right up your alley, I'm like, if for nothing else, you need to watch it. She comes in like episode at the end of episode 1 into episode 2.
Sweet.
Now the storyline is basically about this guy who ends up going to, it's an isekai, of course, ends up in a new world with magic and all that, typical fantasy overpowered stuff. But his skill is level 1, and he'll always stay at level 1. But he gets unbelievable drops. So his drop rate is S tier, where other people are like A, B, C, D, E. So when the girl who finds him, who defeats the slime, and the slime drops him instead of bean sprouts, he's confused. She tells him a little bit about how the world works, and she goes, defeats a slime, and gets 3 or 4 little bean sprouts. She gets a weapon for him. He goes and defeats a slime and gets a pile of bean sprouts. It's probably about 2 feet tall. That gives you an idea of the OP-ness of the fact that he's not exactly the strongest or fastest. He just gets OP loot, and that's the basis of this show. Where it's going to go, I watched first 3 episodes. It's been entertaining. Where it's going to go from here, I don't know. I definitely wouldn't put it in, I don't know if I would put it in a top 10 favorite isekais, but it's been entertaining for the first 3 episodes.
Okay.
The other one that I've been watching, Am I Actually the Strongest, is, of course, another isekai, because, Darren and I love our isekais. The story of a guy who dies and gets reincarnated, sent to another world. The goddess who sends him to the world says, I'm going to grant you with a ton of magical power. But he goes into the new world at birth as a new baby. And Ross says, I like Emily, in my opinion, OP level 1. Oh, okay. So Emily's an interesting character. If I remember correctly, she's the blonde girl that he first meets. As far as Am I the Strongest, he ends up in a world where the measuring of the levels in the kingdom, because he's born to the king and queen, it shows that he only has a level of 2, but he actually has a level magic or a mana power level of 1002. Unfortunately, in that world, they don't have a way of measuring in the thousands. They only have it in double digits or in the hundreds. So a lot of people think he's just a level 2, and that's all he'll ever be, even though he's overpowered without a magic class. So it's an interesting fantasy spin. Yeah, it's got the isekai element, but it's more fantasy genre. Still don't think, from what I've seen, I still don't think that would be up your alley, Ange, but you never know. And yes, and as Ross says in the chat here, also, Doug, did I not warn you about the wolf girl that wants his seed to give him milk?
Oh, God.
Yeah, that was episode 1. And yeah, I'm just happy it wasn't a dragon girl for once. But but it's still early in the series, and being a fantasy, there's a chance there could be a dragon girl somewhere in there.
You and your dragon.
Hey, at least I started the show off by giving you a bunny girl.
That was a fair exchange, I guess.
So I get the I from Angela's. We've already started with the animal girl banter.
Now, you know what?
And then what are we doing with our free time, and what should we be doing better?
This gets into the whole anime has become so mainstream that there's literally something for everyone. So you guys like it, I can give you all the shit I want, but I don't have to watch it.
Until we kidnap you and sit you down with us and force you to watch it.
Good luck with that.
Like I said, there's only two isekai that I think Angela would like that I have recommended to her. I know she started one of them because I wanted to show her Aaron Campbell's work, and at some point she'll get back to continue to watching that one, Banished from the Heroes Party.
Yep. That one was enjoyable.
And I think that she would enjoy Realist Hero. How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom. Because that one doesn't feel like an isekai, and it's got a really good story, it's got good world building, and the characters are enjoyable.
That one's at the bottom of that's not a veto, that's just when I get there.
But a lot of the isekais I'm watching now, I've already told Ange, I'm like, nah, you wouldn't like this. This one's questionable in my book. You'll think it's absolute dog crap.
And my watch list. I do need to get back to.
Eventually.
My watch list this season consists of 4 shows.
How do y'all come out with so few?
Well, when the majority of the list is isekai.
Or season 2s and 3s.
Or what?
Or season 2s and 3s.
Exactly. And Jason in the chat says Realist Hero was really good.
It was. And hello, Jason. Hello, Ross. Hello to everybody who's tuning in and watching tonight. If you are someone who I have met in the last couple of weeks from the training facility, hello. Welcome to Anime-Zing Radio. Hopefully you enjoy the show tonight. We're going to be talking about animes from the summer season, random stuff, and probably get sidetracked like we normally do.
Yep.
And Ross in the chat says, I feel bad for the pink-haired girl from the guild for being a running gag character in the unique skill. Basically, the running gag is this main male character who keeps bringing all these unbelievable drops and getting money from the guild for everything. The girl who's the cashier at the guild, you can tell that she's taken a liking to him and keeps asking him out on dates. And in the middle of trying to ask him out on a date, he just runs away to go do something else. And that kind of has become a running gag in the show. So it is what it's. That's probably going to get old quick. Fortunately, I haven't had to watch it too much, but we'll see how they continue to throw that out there in future episodes. Also, I want to take a moment to throw a happy birthday out to a very talented voice actress who's we've been honored to have on the show multiple times. Happy birthday to Danny Chambers today.
Hey.
Hopefully she's had a good birthday, and I know this has been a busy year for her with getting married earlier this year and everything. I also know that she is going to be a guest at AAC in October, so little bit of jealousy that my wife's going to get a chance to meet her. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to be hitting any more cons this year, where Galaxy Con is selling out quick. And we're not sure, due to the fact they're already sold out on Saturday. Depending on how I do this week, will determine on if I can make it to Darren's like early Friday afternoon to see if we can make half a day Friday or something.
Yep, because normally it doesn't sell out like this, but I guess they've been advertising so much to try to make up for lost years that, and also the fact that the popularity of everything comic, anime, manga, Marvel, DC, the WWE, everything has blown up in the past couple of years with everyone being home more. So the attendance rate, I'm really curious to see the final attendance count once all said and done.
Makes me wish that we could have put in for press.
Well, if we'd have known you were going, then we would have.
Yeah, if I'd known that I was going to be down here, but I didn't even, that wasn't even a thought when I first was like, oh, I'm going to Georgia for training for a new job. And I will say, on a personal level, it's been weird being away from my family for 3 weeks. I still got a week to go, but it's been weird. I haven't spent this much time away from my wife or daughter ever. Since my wife and I got together, we haven't spent more than like a weekend apart. So this has been definitely an interesting experience. Very grateful to be down here. Been working hard at studying, and I am.
Staying hydrated, I hope.
I have drank more water in the 2 weeks I've been down here than I probably have in the last 2 months combined. Because, oh my God, the heat and humidity down here has been horrible.
Yep.
We should send some of it up Angela's way.
Please don't. Today was bad enough.
How about we drive it down?
I'm very much prone to getting heat sick when the temperatures and the humidity get past a certain point.
Well, we're supposed to be in the hundreds this week, so come on down.
Thanks, but no, I'll come down there. Darren, I'll come visit you in January.
It's not much better. There are times in January where it's 70 and 80 degrees outside.
And that is better than the 0 to 10 it is up here.
Let's see. For this week coming up, the lowest temperature that we have is 88 tomorrow, and it's looking 93 to 95 throughout the whole week.
I think we're supposed to hit close to 100.
Friday is 93. Saturday shows 95. I will be out of here before Saturday.
Okay, so tomorrow's supposed to be our coldest day at 86. Saturday, they're anticipating a high of almost 100.
You sure don't want to come to GalaxyCon with us, Ange? It'll only be like 100 out there. And you know that there'll be a line outside to get in. F that.
One? No. And two, you won't pay it for me to get down there?
I mean, you got a shorter drive than he does.
No, I don't.
In grand total, yeah, you do.
How?
He's got to drive across more states than you do by the time all is said and done. That's what I'm saying.
To get from Georgia to North Carolina?
No, to get from Georgia back to Pennsylvania. And let's see, if you're in Boston, I think if you were to put Boston on your GPS and put Raleigh as the destination, how many hours of driving would it be for you?
Hold up. Checking now.
Hey, good evening, John. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend.
And
Now,
how many miles?
I will say it, and I mentioned it last week in the class that I'm in. I've got some amazing people that are in the same class. It's nice to see everybody like so encouraging of each other, testing each other. We want the entire class to pass. We don't want to see anybody fail. And seeing that the class that was ahead of us went through their testing this past week, and I don't know how accurate it is, but I did hear that quite a few of them failed the tests, had to go in for Friday, and still didn't pass the testing, which, as long as you're putting the studying in and the work in, I think you'll be fine.
Darren, the answer is 11 hours, 11 to 12 hours.
Okay, so you had a longer drive than I thought.
From my
No.
house, using my house as a starting point to Raleigh, North Carolina.
And what's the mileage on that? 800, 700?
717.
Okay, and Doug, from my house to Georgia was roughly what? 400 something?
Uh, Something like that. I can tell you how much it would be to get back to my new apartment. That is showing. Okay, if this wants to work. Da, 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 da. 805 miles.
Wow. So you can cross way more states and barely have a longer drive than her. That's crazy.
But let's see. Ross in the chat. Okay, my turn for a review. Ever watch a show that has amazing art, great animation, the story is good, but it draws you in with being angry at the supporting characters connected to the main character? Angry with the supporting characters connected to the main character. I'm not sure.
About to say the good art and the good story is what's throwing me off because there are plenty of shows where I'm angry at the side characters.
See, I would argue that there's one off the top of my head where it's the art's decent, story we can argue about. We could argue about animation good. The main character is the one that annoys me. The main character is the one that kind of gets to me, but the supporting characters are what make the show. Are what, honestly, in my opinion, what make the show.
So, which show are you talking about, Ross? I'm curious now.
You've captured his attention, Ross. Good job.
And which show are you talking about, Ange?
What do you think? What show do you think I'm referring to?
My Hero.
Got it in one.
That's what I figured. I just wanted her to say it.
Ross says that is the case with My Happy Marriage on Netflix.
That's on my radar. Also, another show that's on my radar that has amazing artwork and very good animation from what I've been hearing is The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses. Apparently they spent all their budget on her. And she is adorable.
Interesting. Yes, John, John in the chat was just reiterating what I mentioned earlier, that it is Danny Chambers' birthday, the voice of Chise from The Ancient Magus' Bride, Becky Blackbell in Spy Family, and Noah Segura in My Dress Up Darling.
That was the other show from last season I never followed through on.
What was that? Ancient Magus' Bride?
Yep.
Same here. I like watched one episode, but because of the move and everything that was going on, I didn't really pay attention to it.
Yep.
I have my watch list on my anime list is actually quite long.
Yeah, don't we all?
And more keeps getting added to it because they keep announcing season 2s of things I actually watched and enjoyed.
The thing I'm finding with like the season 2s, 3s, 4s, and stuff, shows that I've really enjoyed like the first 2 or 3 seasons of, as they continue those series on, I started losing interest in. Like season 4 of Data Live didn't hook me as much as season 3 did, and I think that season 3 was one of the best seasons of Data Live.
And well, the other thing is like one of the new season 2s that just got announced with no actual air date yet is season 2 for Gun Gale Online, which was a side story to Sword Art.
And it's been quite a while since that one released.
Exactly.
So we're going back into the trend of coming out with season 2s and season 3s well past their due dates, should they have gotten one.
And that's kind of exactly where I was going with that. The other season 2 that got announced that actually surprised me was, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this, probably.
Welcome to my world.
I'll correct you.
Sebekoi Bisco got a season 2 announced. No idea when it's airing. That was from a few seasons ago.
Yep. I think I was going to watch that, but forgot about it.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. But season 1 it very much was a stereotypical shonen complete with most of the tropes. It was fun.
So I probably won't like it.
I said that when I was watching it. Jason's got some comments in the chats. Goblin Slayer season 2 to add to that list. Absolutely.
Yep.
I will agree with that one. And then for decent drama, Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts.
Yeah, I ignored that one on purpose.
I think my wife was watching that one and said it wasn't that bad.
But most of what I've got on my list for now seems to be the darker stuff, the sci-fi.
Speaking of which, are you watching Zom 100? Because I've seen quite a few good things about that one.
I am not. I haven't. I'm going to admit, I haven't started anything for this season.
So I'm not alone.
I haven't seen that one yet. I've heard that one. I've heard good things about. But that's one of those I'm not.
Hey, y'all, check it out now. I'm like, I trust him.
It's one of those. I don't know, because zombies I'm kind of at a point of done with in other media, because I'm just sick of all the zombie stuff.
Well, since High School of the Dead, there's barely been any zombie. Well, I take it back. There's been a couple of zombie shows worth watching.
They're getting bad, but they're all right.
This one may very well get added to be another one that I eventually get to. but I have heard good things.
I got a bag.
I need like this much.
I got a bag of them.
Let's
So
see what else. Oh yeah, there was several other shows this season that I thought would be on your watch list.
all right, I got you.
Where was it?
Yeah, it's my lunch for the week. Because I just
Yeah, you
we got home at 7. And
I
actually
saw
came.
that.
Yeah, and finished.
Let's see.
We had another season 2 that was dropping this season was the Duke of Death and his maid.
So we're just like, all right,
Oh, here were the other two:
Wegmans.
Dark Gathering and Undead Girl Murder Farce.
Dark Gathering is definitely on my list.
Summer. Oh,
However, that might be one of the ones, if I remember correctly. If I remember correctly, that's the one on High Dive.
Oh, Casey. Look, he's getting married right now. He bought a house in Canton. Well, he's in the
Farther
process.
and farther.
He's in the process of buying a house.
Ross is trying to sell me on My Happy
Got
Marriage.
the dog today.
Oh,
course.
Doug,
good.
were you gonna check out Level 1 Demon King to One Room Hero?
I don't know.
Fun. He kept sniffing.
I was just looking at the My Anime list and it was like, what is this? It literally just came across and I'm like, is that something that I would even want to watch?
But
Half the stuff I've picked was because the characters looked interesting.
It's funny. I got home from work,
I will say one of the downsides to the High Dive app
which
is
was
that I can't
soy milk
download stuff to watch
mixed
later.
with the banana and
I haven't even looked at High Dive in a while. What do they have that's airing this season?
yeah, process. And so I had time for that and to
Dark Gathering for one.
change my outfit.
Dark Gathering is in there. The Dangers in My Heart. Darren, you said you were interested in that one.
Oh yeah, and it's getting a season 2, and it definitely deserves it.
But
That's one of the most adorable couples I've seen in a while.
But I
Like
can't.
Casey got
But
here, I
unlike
sat down
Crunchyroll, where I
for
can
a
download episodes
It's
and
that
watch
time,
them
and
on
then
my
Casey's like, "I'll be there in 5 minutes."
commute,
He's like, "I'll be there in 2 minutes." I'm like,
I can't
Perfect
do
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
with
and then
High Dive.
A minute later, he's like, "I'm here." I'm like, okay.
You probably are, Ross. Ross is asking, am I the only one here watching Tiny Senpai and also Saint Cecilia?
I could just act it out.
Tiny Senpai, I think I was considering watching, but it kind of sounded like my senpai is annoying.
Confederate flag that just showed up on your end.
Oh, if a good enough X logo is posted tonight, we'll make it go live tomorrow.
And I don't know why, but when I think Tiny Senpai, I get the feeling of
And so that's enough characters Lord Michael wishes you would forget.
crap. What was that?
It's
They got 2 seasons.
produced by Quentin Tarantino.
Annoying girl, Monica's character.
Takes.
Not Uzaki, was it?
Yeah, Uzaki.
Great.
Why?
Because she's like the tiny. She's the tiny one with always senpai.
So hard.
She's not to say she's tiny in one way, but not the other.
Yeah.
You can play anything.
And hat. That's all. That's as far as I've got.
Or get the canteen boy, which they had to put a disclaimer.
Had
They had to give a
And
disclaimer.
then the other,
He's 21 years old.
They have.
Saint Cecilia, I don't think
They didn't
so.
get rid of him. They just said, "Don't worry, he's 21." It's like that's still
Yeah,
great.
I'm not
Yes.
sure.
Yeah. What was
Oh, the other one that I found interesting, that I've seen clips of, and that's The Dreaming Boy is a Realist.
I'm gonna trust the Cajun dude. I
Yeah,
saw.
that's another High Dive one.
Oh, and a pot, cook it, and then add pasta later. I'm like,
Yeah.
Basic premise is this guy is chasing a girl,
And then you put the you let
like very openly, and then one day she basically tells him leave her alone, and so he does exactly that, starts ignoring her, and she starts to feel a certain type of way.
Interesting.
It kind of sounds similar to girl I liked back in high school, and after she told me to leave her alone, that's exactly what I did, and nothing else ever came out of that.
I still feel like
throw it in at the end.
No, you can cook it. You can cook it. In
Oh yeah, you can do it
honestly,
either way, but most people
honestly,
do it the other way.
They
Oh,
But-
in the words of 38 Special, hold on loosely.
recommend you cook it in there.
This is all on liquid though.
And
And HH says, Angela, you just need to find a download any video app.
literally,
It's usually a browser where you have to put the URL in yourself.
all
That
flavor's gonna get into that. Because
Gets
you're cooking it in there.
Yeah.
That's cooking it in the flavor.
that gets complicated and far more trouble than
Yeah.
it's worth.
Let's see.
That's why you saw your recipe.
Yes.
And a lot of those apps
That's
are
what- That's
sketchy.
what I do when
Yeah.
when I make something in slow cooker.
Uh,
Now, in some other interesting anime news, Angela had sent me earlier a story from Studio Mappa talking about
Rice
what was it, Yuri on Ice?
let it
Yuri on Ice, which
Tastes
took
fantastic.
the anime world by storm back in 2016. The studio got like zero money
so-
Huh. Wow.
'cause they have nothing
To the
spend
point
anything
where-
on, so I
No, they just
to the point where they
got paid nothing.
basically funded Chainsaw Man as well as another another big hit completely out of pocket.
And that other big hit was Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill or something like that.
I knew it was an isekai. I didn't know which one.
And I didn't watch it.
That one had decent reviews too. People were genuinely surprised.
Maybe I should give it a chance. I was like, no, I've already watched way too many shows revolved around farming and cooking. I probably should just give it a rest for a little bit. But now it sounded like I should actually go check that out too.
Yes, you know what?
No.
That's kind of your thing, Doug.
It really is. And I hate to admit it, but
But you know
I
what?
kind of like those slice of life Farmville anime style games.
But if you enjoy, if you,
I know what I'm saying.
I would say when you get the chance, go back and check it out at least a couple episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Because the description really did make me think it was right up your alley.
And John Knight in the chat says Studio Mappa did Attack on Titan final season. Which
Yep.
part?
Yep.
All I have to say, which part?
Oh yeah, the house. Yeah.
42.
1,728.
Like last month. It was like,
Hard case is only like 20, 30 minutes from here by car. 20, 30 minutes.
I know, Angela, you enjoy Attack on Titan, which is awesome that you like the show, but I know you're annoyed by how they're trying to drag out the finale.
I'd rather they just put it all out at once and be done with it. Otherwise, why call it the final season?
Exactly. That's
Mon-
false advertising. Why break it into parts?
Money, hype. Draw it out as long as you can.
But my point is, they could draw it out and not call it the final season and still have the hype and the money.
But also the fact that, like I said, they haven't even hired a cast and who are the-
And watch it suck.
They needed 91 people.
I'm already at the point of it stopped.
Mickey's department went from 7
I believe, like,
and she was able to keep
I have rambled about this
Yeah,
more than
but it's like-
once, but
because Meta had all those layoffs too. So
Because I know you and was it you and Mario wanted to do a whole just discussion about Attack on Titan when it finally ended.
yes, And I'm down to do that, because I have opinions. I mean, hell, I could do if people are interested, I could literally do a short special where I talk about the first 3 seasons.
he was a fairly hot character.
Granted, I'd probably do a rewatch or like read a synopsis, like do clips, but because it's been that long.
I think I just mixed a Phineas and Ferb.
But the seasons, the final season is just not as good. It got weird,
Yeah. But yeah, it's like Phineas and Ferb.
but I'm invested, so I'm going to finish it.
Well, now one thing that that story about Studio Mappa kind of raised a question in my head about was, at the time, people were still. It was kind of the transition of everybody still getting DVDs to watch, as opposed to the streaming sites really becoming as mainstream as they are now. We're talking like 7 years ago when that came out, and you had a couple of streaming sites, but not a ton like you have now. Is that something that we're seeing that's affecting these studios? Is a lot of times before they were very dependent on merchandise, DVD sales to bring money back into the studios, where now everything is streaming and a lot of anime stores. And even, you go to conventions and you don't find as many people who sell the DVDs and stuff anymore.
Physical media, and this is not exclusive to anime, but it seems like outside of special, very limited edition collectible stuff, physical media seems to be on its way out.
Like I said, there's a very good.
Because I know it's so easy nowadays to just spend $5-10 on a streaming site and you can watch just about anything you want.
Exactly. And I'm also wondering on kind of the vein of merchandise and all that. I'm wondering if in some of those cases, because back then there was not, outside of like the big three per se, a lot of merch was bootlegged.
A lot of merch was what?
Bootlegged, like not officially licensed.
Yeah.
And while we're still seeing some of that, it's the bootleg merch is a lot rarer.
And I think
it's all cheap, shitty sites that are questionable to begin with.
Yeah. And I think that's one way the studios are trying to retain some money is by the licensing for the anime figures, wall scrolls, things like that to get, officially licensed merchandise.
Well, not just that, but like Yuri on Ice, for example, there was a lot of clothing at the time, like cosplay. Like there was a lot of cosplay. There was a lot of, you could get certain characters' outfits, but it was all those. But a lot of them were on the questionable quality cosplay sites that shipped from China.
Yeah.
And how many of those had the official licenses? I don't know.
Probably not many.
Bingo.
But it is interesting to see, how anime has progressed through the years of, even looking back at the 9 years of doing this show. You think back to the landscape of anime back in 2014, you were seeing the startup of shows like Fairy Tail and
One Piece.
One Piece still had been going for a while even back then. They're probably in the 600s as opposed to the thousands in episodes, but
I mean, anime has grown exponentially.
And I'm sure we never thought we would see a time in our lives where there would be so many shows that you couldn't possibly watch everything coming out. Where at a time when we first all got into anime, you had very limited places that you could watch it. You might have to get bootleg DVDs off of eBay to watch some of your favorite shows or things of that nature.
Exactly. You need this.
No problem, Darren.
Hello.
As out of nowhere, we get the anime music.
But
I can't say anything. I have an anime song as my ringtone too.
The irony, if I were going to do something like that, it would probably be a fairly obscure song, but from an artist I like.
Yeah. I chose a song from an anime that I really like, but I don't think that I don't know if anybody would actually guess it. I don't
I
know if
mean,
what was that?
I maintain. I'm surprised you didn't set it to a song by Creepy Nuts.
No, because I said it to that before Call of the Night came out.
I can't even give you guys a hard time for that one. I tried. I did. It just was not for me.
And all we did was ask you to check it out. We didn't say you had to watch the whole thing. It was like, check it out. I think you might like it. The art style was amazing.
Oh, the art was gorgeous. The music was fantastic. I mean, Creepy Nuts is a couple of the songs. A couple of the songs made their way onto one of my Japanese playlists.
And like I had mentioned at the time of watching Call of the Night, the thing that drew me to it was the art, how they made the nighttime look so enticing and so beautiful, where most animes use very dark colors for nighttime. The way that they were able to use purples and pinks and just a different like hue of a color spectrum to make the nightlife enticing.
Oh, it was beautiful. Like the art was beautiful.
Yep.
And Ross is saying he loves music, so he thinks he could guess.
I don't even know how to get to the ringtones on this.
Okay, Ross, but can you point out every single music reference made in JoJo? Because the author was really big into American music, hence why a lot of the characters have some kind of correlation to it.
The saddest thing is, despite the fact that I have not actually watched JoJo, I probably could.
Well, the main thing that's obvious is whether you watch JoJo or not, you've at least heard of Speedwagon, and you can attribute that to REO Speedwagon.
Speedwagon, Dio. I know there's more. I don't remember them.
I think Whole Horse what had something to do. It was Whole Horse and Boingo.
Oingo Boingo.
Yep.
Whole Horse, I don't know. I feel like I should.
Well, the bottom line is if something happens, it was probably a JoJo reference. Everything is a JoJo reference in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I can't figure out how to get this to play that song. But
Play what song?
My ringtone.
You can't get your phone to play your ringtone?
No, it's not that I had downloaded on the phone, but I don't mess with settings and stuff on the phone, so
You should be able to go in and try to change your ringtone, and then you should be able to listen to your current ringtone.
I thought so, but it didn't give an option to listen to it when I clicked on it. So I'm not going to spend, I'm sure the fans don't want to see me just sitting here messing around with the phone for an hour and a half.
Well, about to say, you heard my ringtone a moment ago.
Yeah, that's what brought this up.
Well, about to say, any idea what song that was?
Ross says, really, Darren, study X study?
Yes. Boy Meets a Girl.
And hello to Nico and Kiyoshi Game Playing Idiots. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Hopefully, everybody out there who's tuning in has been having a fun weekend. I know things have been busy for all three of us in various ways. But it was nice to actually sit down and take a little bit of time last night for a break from all the studying and all the quiz taking and stuff, just to watch some news shows and kind of like let my mind relax a little bit. Because there is
Reward yourself for a week's hard work, 2 weeks hard work.
Yeah, because as I mentioned earlier, I have been at the training facility every single day since I got here Monday 2 weeks, since we first started going to that training facility Monday 2 weeks ago.
Are you learning anything? That's the real question.
I have learned a lot. This job is going to be a lot more than I thought it was going to be. I'm already prepared knowing that I'm going to be working crazy hours, and by crazy hours it could be 12-hour shifts that start anywhere at any point around the clock. I could get a call at 2 o'clock in the morning to be at the yard for 4 to start working or things like that. But I'm excited about this opportunity. It's a dream job of mine, and I'm doing everything I can. I'm giving it everything I got to make sure that I don't fail. So hopefully at this point next week, when we have some amazing guests coming on, I know Angela had fun with the banter with them at Rail City. Darren, you're going to have some fun with, or they're probably going to have fun with you.
Probably.
This is another one of those.
Viewer discretion is advised shows.
And I'll point out that me meeting them was when you wished we were live just for the clip that would have come out of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because me going no filter led to an interesting, actually a really good conversation after the initial outburst of me being me.
Y'all didn't take it outside, did y'all?
I thought they were gonna.
Nah, they just a non-local's definition of Boston is just knows no bounds.
When you're from southeastern Massachusetts, a lot of times people have the habit of saying, the Boston area.
Oh no!
But when you say the Boston area to somebody who actually lives in Boston, and the area you tell them is like an hour away from Boston, you ruffle some feathers.
Exactly.
And
or like when one of my friends at Gen Con said, "Oh, this person I know is moving to Boston," and I'm like, and I knew, so I said, what town are they moving to? Because depending on which town would depend on where we get them situated for local events. And in one case it was Worcester. Exactly, HH. Thank you.
HH was paying attention when we told this story before. But it's going to be fun having the token with the dead guys on, because they were hysterical.
They were awesome. They were super chill to talk to.
You still have their email and everything, right?
I have one of them on Facebook.
Okay, because I will probably have you give them the link to join next week.
I will definitely do that. And I will, if you set up the show early enough, I'll probably send a reminder Saturday.
You could probably send a reminder to them during the week, too, because it probably wouldn't hurt.
Bingo.
And John Knight says this year marks the 35th anniversary of Akira movie.
I've
Damn.
still never seen Akira.
Neither
You
have
sh-
I.
We need to remedy that. It's even if that's one of the Joey the Anime Man actually did a video quasi recently about this. I believe in honor of the 35th anniversary. But everyone who enjoys anime should watch Akira because it is a class. It is a classic. Even if you end up hating it, it's one of those you can see how it influences everything that has come after.
And Ross says Akira is getting a reboot.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, it could end up like the Trigun, where it's its own entity, not to be confused with the original.
Or it could be complete and total shit.
Not, that could happen too. Or it could be like the remake of Fruits Basket when they redid it in 2019. That ended up being so much better than the original, in my opinion.
Or we get another instance of Brotherhood.
Or Negima.
I'm not familiar with Negima.
I don't know if Negima would be up your alley or not. Probably not.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was one of those classics that I eventually watched.
But Negima was an interesting one because the original story ended up having like one of the main females dying in the show, and they have to bring her back. Then they redid the show again and changed up some of the storylines in it.
Which version was more accurate to the source material?
That I don't know because I never read the manga.
All right.
I enjoyed both versions of it.
But nah, Akira is a classic. It is one of those. If you like it, I would argue that this is one of those. Everyone who enjoys anime should watch it.
I can always put it on the list and get to it when I get to it, just like everybody else.
That one might be one where we might be able to get away with potentially, I don't know. I have an idea, but not something fleshed out enough to talk about live.
As the wheels are turning and ideas are flowing.
The wheel in the sky?
I don't know where I'll be tomorrow.
But will you be on a cat bus?
No, that's back in the apartment. And I say that because we did get a cat bus plushie for Evie from a convention, so she actually has a stuffed animal cat bus.
Oh, speaking of stuffed animals, remember that grab bag I did, Ange?
Yes.
I ended up giving 2 or 3 of the plushes to Doug. I tried to get him to take the panda thing with him to give to you since he's more likely to see you, but
I mean, I do still have syrup here.
Very nice. Pandas are adorable.
As Doug can vouch for, the only plush I had outside of those was Hotaru, which attacked him.
Yeah, I was walking in his living room. I turn around and this thing comes flying at me.
Nope,
Well, that's how she was in the show. She was always busting in on the scene.
And one thing I can say about the anime community and the fans, we've got some really diehard and dedicated fans. And I saw a thing go across my Facebook feed, I think yesterday, where it was the anime character's birthday of one of Darren's favorite characters, and I use quotations and I use that word loosely. Nico Ni.
I was about to say, I thought you were going to say Yoko Hisaka.
Apparently, either yesterday or the day before. I think I saw it yesterday. So it was either yesterday or the day before. It was Nico's birthday from Love Live.
Ross in the chat says thoughts on Masamune-kun this season so far.
Have not watched
it. I saw season 1. I haven't started season 2, Ross. I am behind drastically.
Because, as we all know, adulting sucks. But it's what we've got to do.
Yep.
I have to say, part of the reason my week was so hectic was to try and have some extra cash for this weekend.
And hopefully everything comes together and we're able to actually make it out there.
If nothing else, we can always go downtown and then just kind of stand around in the lobby.
LobbyCon.
Not like we've never done that before.
I was actually talking to one of my customers today. I stopped by his house because I had to chat with him about something. And he said that he was more into the Marvel DC comic thing, but he was aware of anime's existence. And when I told him about SuperCon, he's like, I'm going to just have to go downtown for dinner one night with my wife so I can people watch. Because he's like, I don't like people enough to attend, but I like seeing what people dress up as, just basically observing everybody. I'm like, yeah, because they do a lot of stuff outside the convention center every year. So it's worth your while.
I probably would still be fun to go check out. I did find out because one of our former guests that's been on the show a couple of times, Mario Bueno, is going to actually be at GalaxyCon. I happened to tune into his Twitch channel, the Digital Era Entertainment, and they were doing a live gaming stream of a mini golf game, and so I popped in just to say hi because I hadn't talked with them in a while, and I heard Mario talk about going to GalaxyCon. So it would be great to see him again, but we will see what happens.
I'll have to message and be like, hey, if we can't get into the convention, can you slip away long enough to meet us at the door?
I can try reaching out to him. I know he said he's got 6 or 7 panels or something like that. So he's going to be a busy guy. I don't know if he's working with a specific booth as well, but I know he's got some panels he's doing.
Yeah, I saw his name on the guest list, and I'm like, oh, okay.
And Ross says, I feel bad for Doug. When he goes home, he probably will be forced to see the new Barbie movie with his daughter.
Yeah, I had several employees at work saying that their girlfriends or significant others were dragging them to the theater.
I will say right now, I'm not gonna say that I will never see it, but there is probably a good chance that I won't have to watch it.
Well, to be fair, I never watched Frozen.
Fun fact, same.
I did have to watch Frozen because of having kids, but it wasn't for until many moons after it came out before I saw it for the first time.
I've seen bits and pieces of it when they air it. Because you know how ABC will occasionally air random movies once in a
Yep.
while?
And because Disney, I believe Disney owns ABC or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. All I know is with that franchise, just let it go.
Ha ha ha.
I will say the lead singer of one of my favorite bands did a really amazing metal cover of Let It Go.
I honestly like the song, and I've heard some good covers of it.
But she also said when she put it up on Spotify, or in an interview after it went up on Spotify, that she did that because she has a under 5-year-old who loves Frozen.
Have y'all heard the Japanese version?
No,
No.
It's actually quite good.
I might have to look that up after the show. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm curious. You got me curious, Darren. But
Excuse me.
Is it Takako Matsu?
I believe so. I don't remember the name of it. I just remember that there was several memes going around at the time when it released. There was a clip playing from the Japanese version and a clip from the original, and most of the people said that the Japanese sounded way better.
That doesn't surprise me. 'Cause, granted, recently I've been finding newer Japanese music better than newer music released in the States.
ditto.
Right.
But most of what I listen to, regardless, is rock and metal.
I'm rocking country.
I am, let's see, what do I listen to on Sirius? 80s, 90s, 60s, and pop rocks.
No 70s?
The thing is, there were some good songs in the 70s, but I wasn't really big into the music of that era per se, more of the 50s, 60s.
I can't stand disco.
I think I made this comment when we were driving around, but it's weird. I was never really a huge Led Zeppelin fan. And I know they were bigger in the 70s and early 80s than a lot of the others, but
Hot take for you all. I love classic rock as a music genre. Led Zeppelin, I would argue, is extremely overrated.
How about Def Leppard?
I prefer Def Leppard, AC/DC, and Aerosmith.
Aerosmith and AC/DC, I will 100% agree with you. Def Leppard, I'm trying, not my jam.
Well,
I just have to say I love the fact that your husband walked by with a thumbs down behind you as you were giving that hot take. That's what I was laughing at.
That being said, now I'm actually going to look this up because
Oh, by the way, I showed Doug something about Def Leppard that he didn't know unless you watched the music video for this song. But Def Leppard potentially came up with the design for Ash Ketchum from Pokemon.
And
Yeah.
I can confirm because the video came out
okay,
long before.
Ross, I
Pokemon.
will 100% agree with you on that. Queen is fantastic.
Yes,
I agree.
Queen was
The
fantastic.
one Led Zeppelin song I actually really like is Kashmir.
Well, let's see. It's been Rock and Roll, I would think, was my favorite Led Zeppelin song, which I love how a lot of these songs, because one of that rain.
While we're on music, John Knight pointed out something I forgot about and relevant to this conversation. Music legend Tony Bennett passed away a few days ago at the age of 96.
I hadn't heard that.
Thanks, John, for that reminder. No, I saw that on Facebook the other day, and
So 96 is quite impressive.
96 and battling Alzheimer's. But
Now I have to laugh because driving around earlier today, I was listening to the XM satellite radio for the NASCAR channel, and this does resort to music. And because NASCAR was racing in Pocono, Pennsylvania this weekend, they played Billy Joel, Allentown.
I was gonna say, where's the problem with Billy Joel? Oh,
There is no problem with Billy Joel. I prefer him over Elton John. There's a hot take for everybody.
I'm definitely not an Elton John person.
Elton John is extremely talented.
He is.
Not my jam.
I prefer Billy Joel's music to Elton John's music. And Allentown now has more meaning to me because that's where I'm going to be working.
I do love Billy Joel. Allentown was a song I don't remember enjoying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's three Billies in music I actually care about: Billy Joel, Billy Idol, and Billy Squire.
What about Billie Jean? She's not my lover.
I would add to that Billy Joe Armstrong, but hey,
not too familiar with that one.
The frontman of Green Day. John Knight's jumping in this music conversation. Favorite band, Fleetwood Mac. My personal favorite song from Billy Joel. That's a toss-up.
Yeah,
I think mine from him was Piano Man.
I do really like We Didn't Start the Fire.
Imagine trying to put out a song like that nowadays.
You couldn't.
Fall Out Boy did. If you listen to their version, they updated We Didn't Start the Fire to news events that have happened since that song came out.
I might have to listen to that.
Same.
And it's really good, actually. I listened to it and I'm like, this is actually really damn
Fall Out
good.
Boy for me is very hit or miss. But now I actually have to think about what my favorite Billy Joel song is.
I would have to say it's a toss-up between For the Longest Time and Uptown Girl.
I think for me it's a toss-up between My Life and Only the Good Die Young.
Okay, Only the Good Die Young is
That's a fantastic song.
We could go into some very deep cuts and go with something from the Oliver and Company soundtrack.
We have really gone down the rabbit hole tonight. We're getting on the music
We
topic.
have, but
That's what we do, especially when we don't have guests and we don't have specific topics.
but it's to maybe, and Ross agrees with me. Why should I worry? Favorite Billy Joel song.
Billy Joel just had a way about, like, his voice was just very engaging when he sang. Like, he could bring you right into a story.
And he told the story.
Oh, but did he tell it like George Thorogood?
I don't know.
Because
John
he
says-
literally starts off his song. I'm gonna tell you a story about the House Run Blues.
I wish. Let me tell you a story about the Joker and the Thief in the Night. That's a song that got stuck in my head, and I do not remember who did it.
And John Knight says, my favorite metal band is Def Leppard. That was my sister's favorite band. She loved Def Leppard.
Was Def Leppard really metal though?
Technically, that falls into a subgenre called hair metal. And if we're going with that, my favorite metal band basically then basically goes one, which era, and two, American or European or Japanese for that matter.
One band is still putting out content today and actually just released a new album, and that is Metallica.
I absolutely love some of Metallica's content.
I think One is my favorite song by Metallica.
My absolute favorite song by Metallica is Nothing Else Matters. However, because of my father, I can't hear Enter Sandman without getting teary-eyed.
I would have to say that.
Because that was a me and my dad bonding moment. But my dad was notorious for finding classic songs and maxing out the volume.
That was me in the truck, as Doug discovered.
Ross, there are some subgenres of metal that have clean vocals that you can understand clearly. The death metal and black metal stuff where you with the screaming vocals. No, I agree. Just no.
About to say, what's easier to decipher, that or Ozzy Osbourne?
I'm actually going to say Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh my God, that's hysterical.
Well, it's funny. One of the guys, he was the drummer in the Black Crowes many years ago. He has his own show that he does every single night of the weekday. And he literally has a segment called, "And now it's time to decipher Ozzy Osbourne." Well, we're not 100% sure, but we're pretty sure he said that Steve Gorman Rocks is the best show on the radio.
And we've gone off the rails on this crazy trade.
Yeah, and
Pretty much.
And speaking of which, did y'all hear that he actually had to pull out of the Power Trip Festival because of his health?
No.
Maybe.
He's being replaced by Judas Priest.
I was supposed to go see Judas Priest last year with Sabaton, and the show I had tickets to got postponed multiple times, and then and it got postponed enough where Sabaton had to bail because they were in Europe. They were touring. They had started their European tour, and I didn't like the new opener, so I never actually saw Judas Priest. I should at some point.
And Russ is, did you know that Warrant hates their song Cherry Pie? I did hear that.
I
Yep.
vaguely remember hearing that. And
There's several bands where some of their most popular songs are the ones they absolutely hate. Like the Beastie Boys absolutely hated. Let's see.
Fight for your right to party.
Yes, thank you. They said they were forced by their producer to do that one.
and Bobby McFerrin absolutely hates Don't Worry, Be Happy.
I love that song just because I think I like it because of the video and how stupidly goofy the video was. I do know that the band Bare Naked Ladies never expected 1 week to even be a single. It wasn't supposed to be.
It wasn't even supposed to be on the album. They added it to the album as an afterthought because that was the parody song in an album full of serious songs.
Back to the comment I think I was going to make earlier. It amazes me how some of these bands literally they'll either start playing something out of nowhere and everybody picks up on it, and they have a song written out in a couple of hours, or you got someone that starts with lyrics on something, they meet with another songwriter, and then next thing you know, they have a song within a couple of hours. They said that Smoke on the Water, for example, was done in a matter of less than an hour, I think.
It's funny. Guns N' Roses. Slash came out about how much he hated Sweet Child of Mine.
Wasn't that a cover song?
It's been covered by numerous people. I believe Guns N' Roses is the original.
I don't think they were.
I'm not sure.
It actually is. It is Guns N' Roses. The original is Guns N' Roses.
Oh, okay. My bad.
It's been covered multiple times by multiple people, including Sheryl Crow. But he came out about how much he hates it because it was basically he was playing chords to warm up, and Axl Rose being, I believe the story goes Axl Rose was being drunk and being kind of an asshole, and basically just kept making him play the scales, and then he just kind of made a song out of it.
Well, you know how "Who Are You" came about, right?
I do not remember. I love that song.
Basically, the Who, their lead singer, I think, was at a bar, and he ran into the band members of the Sex Pistols, and they were basically starstruck, and vice versa. They had their fangirl moment. They went into some conversation about being edgy and whatnot for their era, and they said the Who was edgy for their era. Da 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 da. Long story short, 2:00 rolls around, everybody's drunk. Last call for alcohol. The lead singer is passed out on the steps of the bar, and like it says in the song, I woke up in a doorway. The policeman who woke him up knew who he was, and he's like, dude, you need to go home. So he's literally telling you in the song exactly what happened to him that day. that night after he got wasted.
It's amazing how stories behind how songs come along and things like that.
Probably my favorite song by them was Pinball Wizard.
That was a good song.
Pinball Wizard was good. My favorite is a toss-up between I think the actual name of the song is Baba O'Reilly.
Yep, it is.
And Won't Get Fooled Again.
Yep.
And Ross in the chat says Kurt Cobain hated Smells Like Teen Spirit.
I do remember hearing that.
Yep.
I think when they have mega hits like that, they probably get tired of having to play it constantly, and that's probably where some of the hatred comes. Is same thing day in day out every night,
day in day out all week long. That's Poison.
And eventually, they're just not going to take it anymore.
Twisted Sister.
No, wait, no. My bad.
Is it bad? That's the only song I know by them. I'm sure I know others, but that's the only one I know is Twisted Sister.
Sorry, I meant to say that wasn't Poison. That was Autograph.
God, Weird Al.
He's still doing parodies.
Yup. Weird Al. It's really funny how Weird Al always tries to get permission when he's inspired to do a parody. He always tries to get permission from the actual artist. And I remember there's a story. Coolio.
Yeah, I was gonna say Coolio sued him.
He hated Weird Al's
Paradise.
Yeah.
Because Gangster's Paradise was a very serious song about the life that was going on, the world that Coolio had been seeing growing up and things of that nature. And he hated the fact that Weird Al did a parody of it. And I believe it was actually brought to court.
I knew it was a big freaking deal. I didn't remember it going to court.
But
his Sounds Like Nirvana is the Smells Like Teen Spirit parody, and half the song is basically Weird Al mumbling, and you don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I will agree with that. Weird Al is
has aged well.
Yep.
To put it politely, Weird Al has aged well.
I also recommend watching the that makes sense.
Oh, and I mentioned it earlier, and I will say it again. To all of you fans out there, go watch Let's Get Rocked by Def Leppard, their music video, and tell me if the character that they come up with looks familiar.
And switching back to anime, a funny little anime story from that actually happened today while I was at the training center with some of my classmates. I mentioned earlier that a lot of people that I'm in this training school with are anime fans. So I mentioned, and I know, Ross, you had called me basically the modern day Rail Wars. So I told my classmates about that anime. One of them actually went to watch it yesterday. I think he said he watched it last night when I was talking to him today. He's like, oh my God, what in the hell was that? I'm like, I forgot how ecchi that show was, because the first time I watched it, I was more infatuated with the train aspect than the actual like characters. It wasn't until I went back after the second time and watched it that I was like, oh, this is a lot more ecchi and bouncy than I thought it was. Because I was more distracted by the trains than the characters.
Yep.
But I totally and 100% agree that I am Real Wars. Minus, the cute anime girls.
I could be a cute anime girl.
Haruka is a good girl, Ross. I will agree with you on that.
Boy.
And Angela, for you, like if I were to say Real Wars for you, I would say that would be another one. It's not like on the level of Aho Girl, but it's definitely something. If you just want to watch something ridiculous, start watching Rail Wars and then picture me in the place of the main character, and you'll probably enjoy it a lot more. I won't lie. You will probably watch it and be like, that is so Doug. Especially now.
No, there's shows I need to go back and watch.
And no, I didn't touch on it earlier, but I have been continuing with Vending Machine, and I will continue to say I am still expecting it to suck. In fact, I want it to be horrible so I can bash the crap out of this anime.
And it seems like it's not doing that.
I am just leaving that one. I am leaving that one alone because I am flat out refusing to watch it on principle. However, because I'm refusing to watch it on principle, I'm also refusing to talk trash about it.
I think Angela should watch it just so that is the stupidest anime that all three of us have watched in the same season.
Nope.
That way we can all talk crap about it when it really bombs.
I feel like nothing's going to beat
I will say in the most recent episode, it was kind of funny to see the vending machine change its shape and start dispensing condoms. That's all I'm going to say. I don't think I need to say any more than that. If you're curious, go watch the show. Darren, I think you'll kind of enjoy Vending Machine because you have somewhat of the same sick humor that I do. I'm not going to say it's a horrible show just yet. It's been intriguing enough for me to continue watching. I've watched 3 episodes, and it's now at the point that I'm probably going to commit myself to watch the whole series. I just hope that, some of the characters get better and some of the storyline gets a little better. But I'm not expecting too much out of this one. It wasn't from the beginning, and I'm still not. And Ross says fans are going to be pissed when they find out it can never get a second season due to the fact that the resource only has 3 volumes. What show are you talking about? Was that Rail Wars or was that The Vending Machine? Because Rail Wars, I don't think needed a second season, if I remember correctly. Granted, apparently they're starting to dub Vending Machine. Boxo.
Who has the license to it?
Crunchyroll. And the new episodes for that drop, I think, on Wednesdays. And yes, it is getting dubbed. I think I've only been watching it subtitled. And Garrett Storms as Boxo, Emily Neves as Lamis, Monica Rial is in it, Macy Ann Johnson is in it. So that's some of the English dub cast. We've had Monica on the show and Macy. I don't remember that character though. I'm sure I know who it is, but I don't remember. If I can find a picture of that character. Yeah, I'm not sure who Siori was. Vending Machine only has 3 volumes because the author gave up on it.
Really? Yet it's still got. I wonder if they gave it an anime adaptation to try and inspire the author to return to it and keep going. I mean, don't forget we're getting another isekai coming soon that's even more ridiculous sounding.
Was that the one reincarnated as an apple?
No, keep the pig liver.
Oh, the pig. And on the subject of isekai, I am kind of sad, or actually, I'm really sad that I'm probably not going to be able to make Anime this year because their mascot was hysterical when I saw their banner at Anime Boston. It said I got that time I was reincarnated as Anime-Zing's mascot. I thought that was absolutely hysterically creative on Anime-Zing's part. And I'm sad that I'm not going to be able to go this year. Because knowing my work schedule, even if I had the weekend off, I doubt there would be any way I could get the time to go without missing work.
Everybody's working for the weekend.
I don't get weekends or holidays or any of that anymore.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah. The railroad never stops. And I'm still very excited and looking forward to, where the path will take me.
The long way home.
Probably. I may be. It sounds like, from the sounds of it, it sounds like the yard I'll be working out of. I'll be making trips to Jersey, maybe Southern New York, maybe out to the Harrisburg area, but that's about it. I didn't see any. I didn't see very long runs out of Allentown, so.
So you may not be going too far from home.
Nah, I was. If I'm being honest, I was hoping to have some nice 200-300 mile runs because I could make some good money doing that. But getting home sooner just means I can go back out for the next job sooner and make more money in the 24-hour span.
Yep.
But it's all good because I'm, like I said, I've been learning a lot down here. I'm very happy and excited to have this opportunity, and I'm doing everything I can to be a sponge, soak up the information, learn as much as I can, and then get out, look forward to the OJT. And Ross says, glad you brought up that Welcome to My Life song, Darren, because in 2 weeks, I'll be seeing Simple Plan in concert. And John Knight says 4 more days until the 10th anniversary of SAO English dub.
Man, it's been 10 years since Sword Art released. Wow.
Holy one-liner.
10 years. Good God.
Where
Time
is
really
time
does fly. That is insane to think about.
Well, I still can't believe DXD is 12, 11 or 12 years old. That originally aired back in 11 or 12. I think it was 12.
First episode, January 6, 2012.
Okay, so it was a winter. It was a winter series.
And then you had the inspirations from that of the Testament of Sister New Devil. That came out in 2015.
So I can't play H. What year did that come out? That was 2013. 2012 also.
Yeah, July 6, 2012.
So okay, so that was summer season.
Oh my God, Rosario Vampire was 2008.
Yep.
And
Girls Bravo
Data Live was 2013.
Mm.
Data Live's 10 years old, Darren.
Wow. Ikitosen is fairly old as well.
School Days came out in 2007.
Oh wow. So Ikitosen started in 2003. That would explain the animation and art style.
I've seen a lot of people talk about K-On! That was 2009. That's been around that long? Holy crap.
Yep.
That's one show I have attempted and could not get into.
Let's see. What else has been out for years? Soul Eater's been out since what? Wasn't that a 2008 show also?
I think so.
That was like my 5th anime, I want to say.
Let's take a look here. Soul Eater 2008.
Because let's see, it went Chrome Shelled Regios was my first one, followed by Shuffle. Then was it Girls? No, Girls Bravo was number. Baka and Test, I think, was my third one.
Baka and Test was pretty good.
Now imagine if they were to air that today. You think it would be popular?
I don't know. It might in some. I think it would have its own niche group.
Have you seen that one, Ange?
Which one?
Baka and Tess Summon the Beasts.
No.
I'm going out on a limb here. I think you'd actually enjoy that one. What do you think, Doug?
She might. It's been so long since I've watched it. I don't fully I know I've seen it, but I don't fully remember everything about it. And question for you, Darren, from the chat. Ross wants to know what your thoughts are on Tenpuru.
On what?
Tenpuru? Tenpuru.
Context, definition, no idea what you're talking about, sir.
Is that an anime?
I don't think so.
No, it is an anime. Puru. It's on Crunchyroll.
How old?
I think it's a new one airing right now.
Ross, I told you I haven't had time to watch anything this season.
Let me see if I can find like a synopsis or something of it.
Is there any other names it's associated with?
That's what I'm looking for right now on my anime list. Temple. No one can live on loneliness.
Nope.
It's a comedy romance ecchi.
Okay.
So
But
is it? Let's see. It's got a my anime list score of 6.78. Akamitsu was always told by his father that no one can live alone, but he's sure determined. After all, his father sure wasn't saying it with the best intentions, and has no desire to become like that creep. But when a chance encounter with a young woman leaves him with thoughts that are all too impure, he decides to do what he must, become a Buddhist monk and renounce the worldly ways. But the temple he decides to devote himself to is full of women, and that same young woman is there too. What's a guy to do?
oh,
What the hell? Comedy, romance, ecchi, harem.
okay. So
So that's right up your alley.
let's see him actually try to put out a good ecchi harem, because it's been several years since they've actually managed a good one.
I might, just based off of that, I might have to check this one out. I won't lie. It wasn't on my radar, but it's like, maybe we haven't had a good ecchi harem in a while.
Yeah, the last good one was
Angela will skip that one.
I can't remember the last good one we had.
It's been a while.
Yep. World's End Harem was interesting.
I wouldn't say it was good.
I said interesting, not good.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Food Wars?
That's not exactly a degenerate show. Well, the first episode maybe, but the rest of it, no. I love how Angela's just sitting there judging us.
I'm not judging, I'm just ignoring. Because I have nothing to contribute to this conversation.
What have you ever actually taken the time to watch any ecchi anime at all? Or even ones with ecchi rolled into it?
Other than Aho Girl, probably not.
That's not even ecchi.
It was labeled as an ecchi.
Really?
Well, she talks about the yellow wee wee.
It was labeled as an ecchi. Whether or not that's accurate, you can debate.
An ecchi is showing assets, whether censored or uncensored. Period. In the story. That did not do that.
Me, that is just, that's one of those things that I don't necessarily look for, because it doesn't necessarily in and of itself interest me.
Understandable.
But if something I'm watching happens to have that as an add-on, then I'm not gonna not watch it.
Now, when I was scrolling through and looking up like dates of specific shows a little while ago, one came across that I'd forgotten about, and if I'm remembering correctly, I think it's one that you would like, Angela.
Entirely possible. And
Very-
while you're double checking that, John in the chat, speaking of Food Wars, today is Blake Shepard's birthday.
And who did he play again?
He's the voice of Soma in Food Wars.
Oh, okay, so our main character's birthday. Oh, and speaking of Food Wars, Doug got to see the merchandise that came with my limited edition purchases.
Darren has the limited edition box sets of seasons 1, 2, and 3 of Food Wars.
I do remember that, actually.
And the name of the anime is Knights and Magic.
Oh, the one
And
with Ernesty?
what was that?
The one with Ernesty?
I don't remember the character.
Yeah, because he was flamboyant. He was all
Yes.
over the place. Got excited about everything.
Yes.
You said Knights and Magic?
Knights and Magic, genre isekai mecha. The mecha aspect, I think you will just eat up and love.
Yep, because the isekai, I mean, it's obvious he's in another world, but they barely mention the fact that he's from a different world.
When did this come out?
2016, 2017?
Yeah, it came out a while ago.
I'm looking it up, and there's summer 2017.
And if I remember correctly, the only reason I watched this in English was I think it was directed by Anthony.
I think it was. And what? Because did I get you to watch that show, or was it specifically Anthony?
I think specifically Anthony. I think it was like his second show that he directed, and
Okay, because I think I watched. I think that was one of the ones that started off on my list that season.
All right. Is this one on Crunchy?
I believe so.
This is one. It's an isekai. It's an isekai, but I've been known to like mech stuff to begin with.
Yes, it is on Crunchy.
And fantasy, I tend to, when it isn't overdone tropes, I tend to like.
There's one mecha anime that you'll absolutely hate that I absolutely hated.
Which one?
Daimi Dollar. Kenzan Robo Daimi Dollar. It was terrible.
I've never heard of it, and I'm gonna leave it that way.
It was a failed attempt at an ecchi mecha series.
But the Gundams that I have watched, I really liked. Going back older, Razafon was a mech one that was really good.
Hey Darren, do you think she'd like IS?
Infinite Stratus.
Yeah, it's mecha.
Yeah, and I think Ichika would piss her off too much.
Although she kind of reminds me of Hoki Shinono, no.
But Hoki's the best of the bunch.
She is. And yes, her last name is Shinono, no. It's
and
like
that alone is annoying.
I'll say this: the English dub for that was probably superior to the Japanese, and the only reason I say that is because the girls are from different countries. In English, you can actually hear their accents versus the Japanese, where you really can't.
the Russian chick was hysterical.
Laura Bodevig.
Yeah.
On that note, Darren, I will say the English dub for Asmangadayo annoyed the hell out of me for a very similar reason. I get what they were trying to do with Osaka, but they get but as Mangadao, the dub they gave Osaka a very bad Southern accent, and it annoyed the hell out of me.
Well, for Infinite Stratos, you got the Japanese chick, you got the British chick, you got the German one, you got the French one,
You
and
got
then
the
you got the
Russian.
Chinese. And wait,
See, I'd almost
did I say German?
yes,
Yeah.
you did.
Wait, what? She wasn't. Oh, she was Russian.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. My bad. So it's Chinese.
See, I would almost want to see. I would almost want to see one of everyone in. I would almost want to watch that entire thing subtitled with an actor from each of those countries.
That would be interesting.
But I think Ichika would just piss her off.
I think Ichika would definitely piss her off. Because he pissed me off. Let's be honest. Ichika pissed everybody off.
And Ross says no, Lotta was German. I thought she was
so I
Russian.
was right.
I could have sworn she was Russian. It's been a while since I've seen
Yeah.
that series.
About to say, maybe you're thinking of what's her name from God Eater.
No, I've never seen God Eater.
Oh, and that is one I think you would like.
God Eater.
Yes.
Yeah, Infinite Stratos is High Dive.
Also, I'd never watched season 2 for some reason, but the blue-haired chicks were nice too.
What was that in Infinite Stratos?
Yes. I don't remember their names. Because I didn't watch season 2. I should have. And ironically, as you saw, I own both seasons.
Yeah,
All right.
I used to have season 1, and then I let somebody borrow it, and I never got it back.
This one I could get behind. Sci-fi fantasy tends to be a combo I really like,
And it's post-apocalyptic per se.
which, when done well, is really freaking good.
And this is one of them. Oh, and Chrome showed Regios you would like too. But definitely God Eater. I was really hoping they would have done more with that series.
13 episodes. What was the other one?
Chrome showed Regios. That was my very first anime of all time. Came out in 2008. And
Ross,
would be
you
one
could
of
be-
the ones, the gentleman I'd actually cosplay.
Ross, you might be right. I might be confusing Lotta with Elena Arshevenia from World Break. Speaking of that, I wonder how Michaela Krantz is doing. I haven't talked to her in ages. I should shoot her an email.
And, look at the time.
Oh my God! On that note, we are out of time.
I thought it was bow time.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Everybody, all the comments in the chat, always awesome. Love that everybody is so interactive, and thank you so much for tuning in every week. We appreciate the fans that we have. And if you're new to the show, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you listen to us in the podcast platform, thank you so much for spending time listening to us wherever you are in the world. Hopefully you have the time to come and watch us live during the live shows on Sunday nights on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And saw a lot of new names, saw a couple of new names, and some, of course, the familiar faces that we are always happy to see in the chat. We want to remind everybody that next week we will have Token with the Dead joining us. The guys from the Token with the Dead group they're funny as all hell. If you have seen our live broadcasts, you know who they are, and you know it's going to be no holds barred.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be zero filters. So listener discretion
is advised.
It can't be any worse than the 18+ shows they did with me going on a rant about random stuff.
And probably not. It may very well turn into a game of let's get Angela to react to stuff.
Probably will, and for that alone, you need to be here and watch that. You guys need to tune it. And I'll be in a new location next week. I will not be in the hotel. I will actually be home at the new apartment.
But on
that note, thank you again for everybody for tuning in. Until next week when we welcome Token with the Dead, I hope everybody has an awesome week out there. Stay safe, keep watching anime, and we'll see you again right here next week for more Anime-Zing Radio on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Good night, everyone.
Night, people.